Hello Year 9, welcome back to my YouTube channel of Miss Sankey and Maths. So, as you can see, we're adding and subtracting surds today, and the only people that are allowed to do that are obviously legends, which is why we're all doing it. Except for maybe a few of you. No, I'm kidding. Legends only, so here we go. You can only add or subtract like surds. So it's kind of like terms in algebra, but it's like surds. So a like surd has the same number underneath the square root symbol. Just like 2x and 5x are like terms in algebra, 2 square root 3 and 5 square root 3 are like surds because they've got the same number underneath the square root symbol. It's kind of like you can treat it like an x. You literally treat it like an algebra variable. So for example, 4 square root 2 plus 5 square root 2, well, these are like surds because it's got the same number underneath the square root symbol. So you can almost treat it like it's 4x plus 5x. Now we know that would be 9x, right? But instead of x, we've got square root 2. So we end up with 9 square root 2. Because that is 4 plus 5. All right, the next one, 7 square root 3 minus 2 square root 3. Well, 7 minus 2 is 5 square root 3. Because that's 7 minus 2. Okay, this one's got a little bit of a trick in the middle because we've got 5 square root 6 minus 3 square root 2 plus 6. Now, like I said before, we can only add or subtract like surds. So the other like surd to this one is the plus square root 6. I might do that in a little bit of a lighter colour. Okay, whereas this guy is on its own. So we can only add these two together. So 5 square root 6 plus another square root 6 is 6 square root 6. And then, because we can't do anything with that term, we just leave it, like how we would in algebra. If it was, say, a plus b plus 2a, we would write it as 3a plus b. Okay, you can't do anything with that b. All right, the next one. As you can see, these are not like surds. One's 50, one's 32. But we can change them to be like surds by simplifying them. So remember, to simplify a surd, we break the number up into two factors that multiply to give 50. So remember, one of them has to be a square number. So it's 25 times 2. And then the next one, we want to break 32 up into two numbers where one's a square number, and that's 16 times 2. Okay? Remember, this is the same as 25 times the square root of 2 plus square root of 16 times the square root of 2. This is just 5, so we get 5 square root 2 plus this becomes 4 square root 2. Now they are like terms, or like surds, and together they make 9 square root 2. Okay, so you want to change them so they're the same. You cannot add these together. Okay, this is not the square root of 82. Okay, not a thing. Okay. Again, this time we've got 3 different surds. We want to change them so we can have like surds underneath there. So going through, the easiest way to do it is just find the numbers that are like the most simple. So square root of 8 can be broken down into square root of 4 times the square root of 2. Then we want to minus the square root of 9 times the square root of 3, and then we got add square root of 9 times the square root of 2. So again, this comes down to each of these being like related to each other, I guess. Oops. I'm not related. You know what I mean. Okay. That becomes 2. So we get 2 square root 2 minus 3 square root 3, because the square root of 9 is 3, and then plus 3 square root 2. Now this time, again, we can only collect the things that are the same. So our like surds is the ones with the numbers underneath, underneath the square root sign the same. So again, we've got, that becomes 5 square root 2 minus 3 square root 3. And then we just leave it at that. Okay, so the 5 came from the 2 plus the 3. Okay, last example. This time we've got a number already out the front. So 5 square root of 20. We want to break that into products where 1's a square number. So it's 5, and we can go times 4 times 5. And then we want a minus, and then it's 3 times. What can we break 125 into? Well, we've got 25 and 5. Cleaning it all up, we've got 5 times the square root of 4 is just 2 times 5 minus 3 times the square root of 25 is 5 times the square root of 5. So again, the 4 comes from the 2 and the 25 comes from the 5. All right, last step, we've got, well, second last, we want to multiply just the numbers together because they're at the front. So 5 times 2 is 10 square root 5 minus 15 square root 5. Now these are like surds, and we can complete the subtraction. So 10 minus 15 is minus 5 square root 5. And that is the end. There you go.